Alright, what's up guys? It's been a minute since I recorded a video. Not super long, but it's been a couple days. Just been busy with school, and I just really haven't taken advantage of like recording some stuff when I'm streaming. And if I am streaming, I've been silly and I've been playing like copyrighted music over parts that I want to like use. Like today I played Remy, but I had my Spotify playing, so I can't really use this stuff. So yeah, I think it's just good. Like I think from now on, anything I record, I need to make sure I have that music playing. But if you're wondering why I picked Core, I'm thinking about him as a possible like pocket pick. Lucy and Val are still like my mains, but yeah, like Core I think he's pretty good. I've just also been wanting to play more Gauntlet characters. I've been pretty much on Val Wushang forever now. Some Mordex sprinkled in there too, honestly. Oh, I thought we were gonna get a Gimp. He's going all in. Not to mention on Core, I like his SIGs a lot. They're basic. He was the first Gauntlet legend, and that's what you usually see sometimes with like the first, like a new legend. Their SIGs overall are pretty basic, but like that's not a bad thing necessarily. Like Cores, they hit pretty hard, especially like End SIG, which spikes super hard. Also, not to mention, I feel like the contrast between Core's weapons is really good. Hammer and gauntlets. You got gauntlets with the stringing, and then you got hammer. Hammer being hammer, big weapon. You know, it's reliable to kill with. Not to mention, it's got its own things that you can like use for damage. Oh, I somehow avoided that nair. I have no idea how. Okay. Ow. Experimental bomb. Okay. Not bad. That was just greedy. Oh, I wish I got that. I would have had a big punish. And that dropped. He did like a chase dodge. I hate when people do the chase dodge into their recovery. It just has never, to me personally, it's never made sense at all. I just don't get it. Oh, stomp and sick. Isn't that a lot of damage? That's what I'm pretty sure I've heard. It's like a 30+ combo, I think. So at least for damage, it's like super good. Okay. Ow. All right. I think Gauntlets is up next for us, and of course it's other side. What do you guys think of like weapons spawning like closer, like to middle, or like more consistent locations? Like I hate when they spawn just, and I know a lot of people do, when they spawn in these like random locations. Let's see if I can hit with a read. It's gonna be kind of greedy of me to go for this, but yeah, I hate the random spawn locations. No? I mean, that one I could have just done a normal punish. Ooh, he went up with that. Hammer into guitars. I'm surprised he's... I get why he's sticking with it, but at the same time, like... Oh, and he has these. I feel like there's a bit of an illusion with playing guitars or scythe into certain things. Or just like a string weapon in general, because your idea behind it is like, oh, I'll get one hit, and then I'll turn that one hit and get the read and turn it into 3. The thing is, though, the chance of you getting that read is super low. Unless you're like on it with your reactions, you know, or you just know which way that they're gonna they're gonna dodge. I think personally, sometimes it may not seem like it at first, but if you can just go, you know, get those 1-2 hits with, like, in his case, sword instead. I mean, it might feel like you have to be safer, which I feel like that's false. You don't need to be safer. You're playing just as safe either way. It's just your risk is lowered, I think. They're bigger weapons too, especially like compared to gauntlets and katars. Like you don't have to work, like you don't have to work with these small little hitboxes. Instead, you're working with like a bigger hitbox, so you can, yeah, it is a little bit less risky, and that killed me. I don't know what health I was at. I thought I looked over and I wasn't too deep into red, but I mean, fate is fate. Definitely top 3 legend in the game, that's for sure. Oh, back up, cause pick up. Not really. That's something else I've been kind of expecting more from people. When I do D-Light Dare in particular, I've been expecting, just in general, like against gauntlets are probably the worst, quote unquote, of the string weapons. They can be ruined. I don't want to say ruined, but you can get, a lot of people get by with just doing like wake ups on a lot of stuff. I feel like what carries me with playing gauntlets right now is the fact that I'm just super experienced playing them. I mean, I've been playing them for, almost 3 years. I mean, I was playing them since Core's release, not like as a main necessarily, but like, you know, I didn't really, it wasn't like I ignored the weapon like I kind of do with like orb to an extent, or cannon. Like I definitely, or I should say lance. But yeah, like I played it since release, and I mean, I've enjoyed them always. Sometimes I like to mix it up a bit. I played a lot more katars at BCX, but I've always had Val and Lucian be in. Like if you watched me play my sets, I've always had them be there as characters, because they always have been just like strong picks. And I haven't had a reason to swap off. I feel like the reasons I've lost with them in tournament are not like, it's not a character thing, it's my fault. Especially when you look at like Autumn Championship, when I was playing Lucian into Wrench, and he was on a Surrey at that point. It was game 5 Brawlhaven. I had a big lead and I just choked it. I just made wrong plays and he clutched up, and made some really smart choices, which is unlucky, or, you know, bad by me, good by him, however you want to look at it. I think though, like, that's an example, though, of like me just of it being a player problem. And I feel like that's something important for people to understand, that you may find more success. That's unlucky. That's actually unlucky. You may find more success with a new legend, but keep in mind, like, if you're swapping off from an old legend and your reasoning is that, oh, I don't want to play X legend, or I'm swapping off X legend because it's bad. Just consider, or X legend is, you know, this new legend is so much better, this other legend is so much better than what you're currently playing. Just consider the fact that it might be a you thing. I think that's always important. I definitely haven't taken either of my picks or my mains to their, like, what I at least consider the full potential. I think if I was playing them at their peak, I would be winning tournaments with them both. But yeah, it's just mainly a me thing. I just need to spend more time labbing, which I have a bit. I've been thinking about the game more, especially now that Winters is around the corner. Twos, I have a new pick, or a second pick that I feel really good about. You know me, I play Hattori. That's been like my go-to for a while now in 2s, and it's worked super well. The only LAN I've won has been with Hattori. However, I think I really felt like with Hammer in its current state, and I've thought about it before and I've played it a little bit, Nash is just too good for me to ignore. And the more I've played him, the more I've genuinely, like, I've enjoyed playing him. And you have no idea, after playing Hattori for 2 years plus now, Hattori's another character that I've just had in my roster for so long. Just playing something, and to be fair, Hattori did get buffed, which is super nice. And the buffs are great. I mean, Nash is Nash, and Nash hits, his stat spread is super clean. Not to mention, his SIGs are filthy. They are so good. Like, so beyond ridiculous. Like, also, Spear in 2s, insane. Hammer in 2s. I mean, a good Hammer in 2s is also really, really, really good. Hammer, Hammer in general, it's really good, so... But yeah, the signature kit on Nash is just fantastic. And if you notice, even you look at what's winning tournaments with 2v2s, right? And every team pretty much has some form of like heavy hitting signatures on it, or like both people honestly have signatures that are going to hit you really, really hard. They're basically playing, I guess, essentially two I like to usually split up like 2v2 into damage, or not damage, like a support, and then there's a person like you're supporting, so I guess like the leader, or however you want to say it. So essentially, instead of me playing Hattori, which is like probably one of the best like support legends, I'd say. I mean, sword always good in 2s, spear probably one of the best weapons in 2s. I mean, for sure one of the best weapons in 2s, definitely up for being the best alongside sword probably. I think Hattori's great, but what you see right now in the meta is a lot of people are having a lot of success with playing 2 legends that can play that leader role, instead of just having one person on something and taking that like support. The thing is, they're just trading the support role for that extra like leader position, but they're treating that legend as still as like, I guess, somewhat of a support position. It's much more interchangeable as to who's playing support and who's playing leader, and who's like the one going for like the big kills and stuff. And I mean, when I've practiced with Remy, like I've noticed for sure, like I usually deal less damage, and that's just how it's always been. When I played Val with Capped, even when I played Hattori with Capped, when Hattori is really good, I've always been the one dealing less damage. But I know, like, it wasn't me. I've always known that it's like the damage doesn't necessarily matter. Like, I know where my kills are coming from. They're coming from Gimps. They're coming from me. They're coming from Capped, because I'm feeding him these things that he can follow up off of, and he ends up being the one that finishes it. Or same with Remy. You look at all Remy and I's combos, or at least a couple of them. Such a crucial component of our combos is Remy's like sword and sig. That's just like super big. And when I'm playing Nash, it's just like a whole new door's opened. Bomb? No, too high up. A whole new door of opportunity is opened, and because like side sig, all his hammer sigs are really good. Some people might question hammer D sig, but they just don't know how to use it. I mean, that sig sends you flying, and you can essentially like catch someone off stage without having to really like, you don't have to use any of your options, right? You could go like all the way out here. It's very similar. Okay, I mean, he killed me for it, whatever, but you get the point. Like with his D-Sig, you can basically get like so far off stage without having to use any resources, which could potentially be bad. yeah, it's a breath of fresh air for sure in twos. Not to mention that I'm also now, like I feel like I'm the one that is doing like so much more damage just because that's the role that my character plays now, is that if I'm playing pretty good, then I'm going to be doing like 600 plus damage just because I have the tools equipped, and Remy's now going to be in that position where, you know, he's covering the dodges, he's covering me if I get in something. He's following up off of my stuff, and then I'm the one finishing it. So it's all really interesting. I guess to end the video, thank you all for watching. You know, like, subscribe, all that. If you're competing in Winter Championship 1v1 this weekend and the 2v2 next weekend, good luck. If you're not signed up, sign up for it. Yeah. And with that, I'm out.